Hey guys, sorry about the technical problem this time. So for my assignment this week, I decided to post something on YouTube that was racially motivated, and so I posted actually something from the book that I've been reading because I couldn't really find a news article or something that I felt really passionate about. And the book that I'm reading is about a teacher in inner city Chicago schools and how how he tries to teach his students about like what it means to be an American. Anyway, that's just one chapter on it, and what it means to be Mexican, which is what most of their heritage was from. And it had some really interesting responses. Like a lot of them said that American is rich, white, racist, makes a lot of money, and an American is someone who graduates school, while a Mexican has to usually drop out and work for his parents. And so that was just a really interesting thing for me to read, to see their perspective on. So I posted about that on my Facebook page, and I expected to get a bigger response because I've posted about things for school before. And I definitely post things about my family and get a lot of likes. I tend to get a lot of comments and things like that. And I got 2 comments from people, and I got like 0 likes or anything. So I thought that was really interesting. And at first I was thinking I'm going to have to find out something else to do for my digital dialogue. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought like maybe that's pretty indicative of how people feel. And the thing is, I can only speculate why I didn't get a lot of response. I felt like my post was up there during a time where a lot of people would see it. I continue to get likes and comments on previous posts, but not on that one. And I wonder if it's just because like people either disagreed with my post, like saying like I didn't realize it was just kind of along like the bicycle principle that we read about for digital dialogue. Like I sometimes didn't realize that I was being subject to that white privilege just because it's like my obviously like the world is really made for the culture and power, and that's where I come from. That's my background. Um, and so maybe they didn't want to like sound too confrontational, because I did like at the end post, I'm like, okay, if you have like feelings, like at least tell me what you think about it. I have had people before that have said, things along the line, like when Ferguson happened, that, usually the only people that are left racist are the ones that are of color, and so it's their own problem, and they're the ones that need to do something about their lives. Obviously, like reading about the things that we did for digital dialogue and reading the book like shows me that there's a bigger perspective that I was not exposed to before. I didn't really think that I was racist. I didn't really know what it meant to have white privilege until I even thought about this. And I worked with a lot of people of different ethnicities and minorities when I was on my mission, but I never really talked to them about their race and how that affected them. So that was really interesting for me. So the 2 responses I did get were actually both people from my mission. So they live in the South, where the topic of racism does come up from time to time, specifically about them. One of them was from a Black woman. Her name is Yvette, and she said something along the lines of like, it was one of our things because with Finding Nemo, she's like, I told you that sometimes when we have hard things in life, we just need to keep swimming. And she's like, I'm glad that someone like you never had to live in a body of color, because you're so beautiful and you have so much to share with the world. And it's basically all she said. And I thought like how sad that was, that she felt that just because she was Black, there were things that she couldn't have or couldn't share with the world because they might not listen to her. The other comment was from my friend Ginger, and she's Caucasian, and she's lived in the South her entire life, had a thick accent, but wonderful family, really kind, beautiful woman. And she talked about how she's like, I really wish it weren't true, but if you're stuck on the side of the road and someone of color gets out of your car, you wonder if they're there to hurt you or to help you. Or you see someone of color check out with steaks at a grocery store, and you automatically assume, oh, they must get that from from federal government help. And she's like, that shouldn't be the case. She's like, but it is. And she's like, I try to be vigilant about not judging people. She's like, but I know that it happens, especially with the little demographic map. Like you can see that there's a very significant African American presence down in the South. That if you look up my little hometown in Idaho, you can definitely see some little yellow blurbs and the black dots that represent the Native Americans and the Hispanics. But a lot of it's very, very white populated. So that's probably why I wasn't really exposed to it a lot. I didn't live in that minority. I didn't associate with people like that very much. So anyway, I thought the readings this time were really helpful. So like I said, I was expecting to get a big response, but I didn't. And so I wonder if that just means that a lot of people didn't agree with me, or they didn't understand what I was trying to say, or they just didn't want to be confrontational just because maybe race doesn't even matter because they don't feel like it's a problem. But I didn't get a response from anybody that's even close to Idaho or Utah, where I'm from. and that's what most of my friends make up on Facebook. So let's see, the experience, I guess it reinforced my belief that a lot of people that I grew up with don't think that race is a problem, or don't care about it, or maybe don't know enough about it to talk about it. I wrote in my paper for the class, like, I used to not think that I was racist, but then I'd see vandalism on the side of the trains, and I'd think, oh, like, that must come from the Hispanic gangs in town. Or I didn't think that, like, I was prejudiced at all, but, like, I've been grown up taught by some people that I know and love that Native Americans don't take care of their homes and things like that. And I grew up thinking about that. And I got to college and my perspective did start to change. And I mean, like I said, I never thought that I was racist. And people say, oh, I'm not racist because whatever. I have the one black friend, just like Sister Jukes talks about. Like, I've definitely seen that. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is something that was brought to my awareness, that I can be more conscious of and be more sensitive to regarding my students and what I expect of them, and helping them to achieve their potential. Let's see. So I shared something that was interesting that I learned, just someone responded. I think, like, again, just with my future students, I really want to make sure that I give them the attention that they need, and that they show them that they have potential, and that their potential doesn't have to match the standard of white, rich, racist American stereotypes. I want them to embrace their culture, and that's going to be hard for me because I might not know what it is a lot of the time. So I'm just hopefully going to be able to encourage different cultures in my class and different types of beliefs, and let people share their values and things that are important to them that might not be the same as mine. And just because they're not the same as mine doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're bad. So I thoroughly have loved this unit that we've had, and I'm excited to talk about it in class next week. So that's my thoughts. Thanks, friends.